Breaking news, Trump just killed the Prime Minister of England on live television. He's dead. He's never recovering from this one. I can't believe it. This is so sad. Lock in, boys and girls. You are about to watch possibly one of the biggest strings of Trump W's and England L's of all time. I have never seen this before, and I know I'm going to get people in the comments, oh my god, I know Trump literally saved the economy and made it a kick-ass deal with Europe, but the Epstein files! And to you I say that is a valid concern, but kindly shut the fuck up. Let's move on and talk about other things in the world. Two things can happen at the same time. And today we are talking about colossal Trump W, and I know I'm going to get shit for it because everyone likes to shit for things. But too bad, you have to know what's happening because the media is not reporting it. Alright, so this is Trump, this is Kier Starmer, he's a retard. He also got his second calling, Prime Minister of England, and Trump absolutely destroyed him in this 12-second clip.
It's a free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular.
Free speech is very important. He looks at the British Prime Minister and he says, I don't know if you ever know any places that aren't really doing anything like that because, well, England currently is in the middle of doing this giant censorship campaign where they're censoring half the internet, and they're also arresting anyone that might even be a little bit racist towards Muslims. It's definitely a weird place to be these days in England, but if you post a Facebook meme that might be Islamophobic, you're going to the slammer, baby.
Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time.
So this dude, he goes to interrupt. No. We had free speech. What are you talking about? We had free speech for a very long time. A very long time.
Yeah, so we're very proud of that.
And Trump just kind of ignores it because realistically, they do not actually have free speech for a very long time. You see, they don't have free speech at all. England does not have freedom of speech. Trump knows it, and he made his little subtle nod to it. But if you want to know what's going on in England right now, this is what perhaps your Twitter feed might look like if you are in England. Just a nice little collage of due to local laws, we are temporarily restricting access to this content. This is fucking insane. For those of you that are unaware, this is diabolical. Like, ridiculously diabolical. They are going ahead and censoring everything. The main purpose of this video specifically is going to be talking about the Trump situation. But dude, it is crazy.
How would you deal with it? What's your advice on dealing with the small boats crisis in this country? The small boats
coming over the channel, so we're taking a lot of action to stop people coming over the channel who shouldn't be here and stopping them coming in the first place.
Well, immigration is a big factor, and
yeah, there's something wrong with the immigration going on in England too. Bro just came in with two gigantic schmeedy balls and rubbed them all over the Prime Minister of England's face. I have never seen death and destruction on quite this level before in my entire life.
I think, frankly, if they're coming from other countries and you don't know who they are, and are they coming from prisons? We have them where they came in from prisons. We're moving them all out. We had a border last June, just recent, last month. We had 0 people come into the country, 0, other than coming through legal means. If you're stopping immigration and stopping the wrong people, I give my hats are off to you. You're doing not a good thing. You're doing a fantastic thing. So I know nothing about the boats, but if the boats are loaded up with bad people, and they usually are, because, other countries don't send their best. They send people that they...
Yeah, a country normally does not send their best. They normally send their fucking retards. Kind of weird how that happens.
They don't want, and they're not stupid people, and they send the people that they don't want. And I've heard that you've taken a much stronger stance on them.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work stopping them coming. We just signed an agreement to return them, and we've returned 35,000, in fact, the first year of this Labour government, of people who shouldn't be in this country. So we're very pleased that we're getting on with returning people who've got no right to be here.
That's great. As somebody that loves this, I love this country. My mother was born in, as you know, born in Scotland, and it's an incredible place.
Yeah, so basically, England fell off. England fell off big time. They sent in all their fucking retards. England is swarming with retards. They're censoring you if you call out the retards, and if you want to deport the retards. Now, speaking of retards, this clip was posted by Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is an individual who was imprisoned in England for exposing rapists. He exposed that there was this grooming gang from Pakistan that was out there raping women and girls, and he got imprisoned for being Islamophobic, if you could believe it or not. Now, Tommy Robinson also recently has had an issue where he's been trying to post videos on YouTube, but every time he says anything about pro-deportation, he gets community guidelines striked. So obviously I spoke to him about it. A super nice guy based on the little chat we had. We're gonna try to figure this shit out because this is insane. You can't start banning people for being pro-deporting illegal immigrants. This is fucking retarded. What is this, 1984, bro? Oh, no, that shit's fucked. It really is. So anyway, in the UK, shit got so bad in regards to this censorship situation that Asmongold literally recorded a video on a potato.
Hi guys, it's me again, and today we're going to talk about the parasite that is payment processors.
So payment processors have had an issue that they are basically censoring you from purchasing things. Obviously, you can watch this Asmongold video if you like, but the main purpose of this is going to be the Trump situation in regard to how he's tackling England. Despite the fact that this was recorded on a potato, I think it's definitely important enough to talk about here. Now, let me include you in on what's actually going on with Donald Trumpanor, as we call him. So this guy just made the greatest trade deal in the history of America. And I am saying that without actually any hyperbole at all. Like, zero hyperbole. This is the best trade deal ever in the history of America. With zero tariffs on U.S. goods, hundreds of billions in military gear, made $600 billion in U.S. investments, and by $700 billion in U.S. energy. Now, interestingly enough, there's an entire thread talking about why it worked out so well. The main reason is because America had all their fucking cards. We have the cards, baby. I have the cards. You don't have the cards. You're retarded. I have the cards. You do not have the cards. You have illegal immigrants, but no cards. Turns out America actually is more needed by the EU than the EU is needed by America. So if that is the case, America could say, hey, motherfucker, stop ripping us off, you stupid ass bitch Europeans. Why don't you even pronounce the letter R in any of your words? What the fuck is a war? Miss me with that shit. That's what Trump said. That was a quote. And essentially, he actually got it to work. Now the EU is paying 15% tariffs on exports to the US. It is accepting zero tariffs on US goods. It's committing to hundreds of billions in US energy and arms. And it's so much more. The reason why they actually did this, it turns out, is because they fucking needed Trump. Trump didn't walk in with diplomacy. He walked in with leverage that they couldn't ignore. There is no doubt that Europe needed Trump more than Trump needed Europe. During his first term, Trump strengthened NATO's dependency on U.S. energy, shifted military manufacturing dominance back to the U.S., dismantled the EU's ability to form an independent energy bloc. That trap was set years ago. Europe was completely hooked on the U.S.'s firepower and the U.S.'s fuel, and now Trump is threatening them to treat us fairly, and it worked. Now, of course, some say the deal was unfair. The EU got survival, Trump got leverage, America got paid. This is a colossal fucking W. And obviously you're gonna have some retard freaks talking about how it's not important. Obviously there are things that are more important, but you're all wrong. You are all wrong. Ever since Trump started bullying them, they actually started paying Ukraine instead of trying to convince America to pay Ukraine. Trump actually pulled off the tariff deal shit and succeeded. Now, if you looked at the media during the beginning of Trump's term, about 6 months ago, if you looked at the media, they all came together, put their cocks on the table, and said, actually, we pay the tariffs, no one else pays the tariffs, tariffs are bad, we're making enemies with our allies, this is horrible, the stock market's gonna crash. And none of that happened. In fact, quite to the contrary, this is one of the biggest fucking greatest deals in American history. And all it took was a little bit of negotiation. Trump threatened the 100% tariff on EU cars, and in return, EU panicked. And turns out, everything switched. And now there's no tariffs from America to Europe. Now, we're actually able to sell American cars to Europe. Now, the Europeans are actually paying 15% tariffs to the US. This was a fucking colossal W. And it's the likes of which we've never, ever seen before. It's been such a colossal W that CNN has been trying their best not to talk about it. You know, they're gonna interview Epstein's shoemaker to see if they can get something on Trump, but they don't want to talk about this. So this is a little 40-second compilation of different times where they were literally eating crow, glazing Trump. Because what are you going to say? This is CNN, the largest Trump haters of all time.
The early reviews are in on the new trade deal announced with the European Union. The Financial Times says the deal marks a victory for Trump.
Awkward!
Is this a fantastic deal then struck by Donald Trump?
Absolutely a victory on behalf of the Trump administration.
They can't even say that Trump did well, bro. The Trump administration actually did something good? Question mark?
Well, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order.
On this deal, the European Union, this is a big win for the U.S.
The bigger picture is that Trump is still very much pursuing his longer-term goal of achieving what he perceives to be fairness for America.
It's a triumph of a lot of things. Certainly, the president ought to take a victory lap. I think it ends up being good for the European Union. It's a blow against the conventional wisdom.
Wow, so it turns out even CNN, the communist Nazi network, is glazing Trump for this. That's how you know shit's good. That's how you know shit's fucking good. So Trump just did a speech, like a press meeting with Kier Starmer, and apparently he absolutely fucking destroyed him. This is in regards to the UK and whatever other questions the reporters asked. I did not watch this yet, but I think it's important to note what we are doing in society. And while I had so many criticisms towards Trump regarding the Epstein thing, because I don't think that was handled well, I do think this was handled like a masterclass. Actual masterclass. Nux, do you think this will be bad for the EU? Let me explain something to you, all right? This is going to be a very hard thing to understand. Life's not fair, okay? Life isn't fair. The way the world works and the way business deals work is you hope that every single person could get something that they want out of the other person in exchange for a lesser give. Okay, that's how business works. That's how negotiating works. No one gets 100% of what they want, all right? The goal is that both sides get 80% of what they want. That's what's happening. Since the beginning of this bullshit, like 20, 30, 40 years ago, the EU was taking advantage of the United States because the United States was so fucking rich. The United States, they're so rich. They have so much money. They're so lucky to have so much money. They're so rich, guys. We can take advantage, bro. We can take advantage of the United States. So rich. And basically, the United States capitulated to all of that shit, and the EU is ripping us off. And Trump was like, no, I am more than happy to make a deal with you guys, but shit's gotta be fair, and I have the cards, so we're doing that. And honestly, this is a massive W for the United States of America.
Would you like to say that?
Well, let me welcome you, Mr. President, to Scotland, and fantastic to be here at Turnberry with you. Thank you so much for showing us around and having this opportunity to sit in this fantastic ballroom, which is absolutely incredible, and to start talking.
I love how you could tell how Trump doesn't give a shit about this guy. Bro, you can see how much Trump doesn't like this guy. It's amazing. He's just looking at him like, yeah, I'm here with this guy, I guess. I guess he's the Prime Minister of England or something.
Talking about some of the issues that are most pressing in your country, in my country, and in particular, we've had the opportunity to talk about the situation in Gaza and the intolerable situation, including images of starvation, and I think both of us know that.
Speaking of images of starvation, did you see the latest New York Times hoax? Oh my god, dude. Did you see the latest New York Times shit? It's actually fucking insane. It might be the craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, check this out. This is unreal. So the New York Times posted this on their front page, right? Which is a lady in Gaza holding a child that's obviously like incredibly sickly and starving and truly tragic, and was like, you know, obviously this is a tragic situation. I don't want to see any civilians, especially children, dying and suffering. But it turns out this is not a starving, dying child at all. It turns out this is a hoax. It turns out this is a child from Gaza with muscular dystrophy, with a muscular disease, and Israel actually flew out this family into Italy to get treatment for this child, and they did a photo op before they left to post a child with muscular dystrophy instead of an actual starving person. This is crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, obviously, moving on.
We have to get to that ceasefire, and we have to increase humanitarian aid in, and thank you for what you've already been doing, are doing, and are committed to, because without you, this would not be capable of resolution. And I think that if we can work not just on the pressing issues of the ceasefire, but also on this issue of getting humanitarian aid in at volume, at speed, and then we've discussed a plan for what then happens afterwards, I think we can do our very best to alleviate what is an awful situation at the moment. So,
all right.
Thank you very much for the discussion we've had so far and the discussion we're about to continue on that really important issue. But it's fantastic.
By the way, speaking of terrible CNN articles, you have to see another one, bro. You have to fucking see another one. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this might be the greatest article ever written. So this is CNN. So basically, this was, Israeli planes dropping aid into Gaza, like on parachutes. We are not dogs. Palestinians condemn humiliation of chasing after airdropped aid in Gaza. Bro, this is a starving people in the middle of a genocide, ? And they're giving a 3-star review on Yelp? What are we doing, guys? This is CNN, bro. This aid is disgraceful. We are not dogs to be made to run after, it said Ahmed Faiz Fayyad told CNN. We'd rather die of hunger with dignity than die in humiliation and filth. What are we doing? This is the worst thing of this fucking CNN. Oh my God, bro. Come on. Bro, I can't believe Israel would ruin their entire genocide by giving them food. This is so sad.
To be here. Thank you for your hospitality and to see this amazing golf course. I'll invite you to a...
By the way, some random lore. Trump invited Starmer to play golf, but Starmer's apparently really bad at golf, and he was embarrassed, so he turned him down, and Trump said, okay, the deal is going to be harder because you refused to have the balls to play golf with me. All right, this is some lore.
Football grounds at some stage, and we can exchange sports.
It's been great being with you, and thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. And you've done a fantastic job with regard to the trade deal. You know, they wanted...
Trump literally made the best fucking deal for America and congratulated them. No! That's diabolical, brother! Congratulations on signing me everything and giving me all the things I wanted.
A trade deal here for years, many years, through many different terms of different people, and you got it done. So I want to congratulate you on that, and it's a great deal for both. It brings.
I congratulate you on doing a successful job at giving me a rim job. I've never had a rim job quite as good as the one you've given me, Mr. Starmer.
Unity. We didn't need unity, but it brings us even closer together. I think it's good for both parties. We also discussed obviously Gaza, and I think before we get to phase 2, which is what's going to happen afterwards, we want to get the children fed. We made a contribution a week ago of $60 million, all going into food. We only hope the food goes to the people that need it. Because Hamas steals the fucking food if it comes through the UN. So much as when you do something there.
Right, all the Hamas leaders are like, for those of you that are unaware, on just some fucking horrible context, because I hate this context personally. I really wish that they would feed the people. But like, this is flour. This is in Gaza. All right, to be clear, this is all inside Gaza, and the UN is supposed to be distributing this food to Hamas, essentially, to give to the people. And it's just sitting there.
That is a sack of flour that the UN is letting rot in the sun. I gave up trying to count how many hundreds of sacks of flour the UN is letting rot here, instead of picking it up and taking it to people who need it inside Gaza. Be skeptical of these international organizations that keep blaming Israel to cover up their own incompetence.
I mean, to be real, obviously Israel is definitely involved. They have blockades and shit like that. But that's insane. That's a shit ton of flour, bro.
It gets taken by...
These are your taxes, ladies and gentlemen.
Hamas or somebody, but it gets taken. But and we're prepared to help. We want to help. It's a terrible situation. The whole thing is terrible. It's been bad for many years. But it's great to hear you feel the same way that I do. We have to help on a humanitarian basis before we do anything. We have to get the kids fed.
Yeah.
So we've been sending in a lot of food. A lot of the food that's been going there has been sent by the United States. I spoke yesterday with the president of the European Union, Ursula, who was terrific also.
Bro, her name is Ursula. This is so sad. Oh my God, imagine being named Ursula.
On the subject, and she's going to play a big role also in helping us. So we have a good group of countries that are going to help with the humanitarian needs, which is food, sanitation, and some other things. It's very difficult to deal with Hamas. As I said, we got a tremendous amount of hostages out, but it would take place in drips and drabs. You'd get 10, you get 5, you get 2, you'd get 10.
Yeah, reminder, Hamas still has hostages, right? They're allegedly getting genocided and starving, but they're still holding hostages. They could end the war today. God, it's so fucking tragic, this whole thing.
12. We get 12 one time. Many of them would come to the White House, and they were so thankful. But I always said, when you get down to the final 10 or 20, you're not going to be able to make a deal with these people because they use them as a shield.
Yep.
And when they give them up, they no longer have a shield. And the people of Israel feel so strongly about the hostages. Some people would take
Could you blame them?
A different view, but they feel so strongly about the hostages. So that's an ongoing process. Hamas has become very difficult to deal with in the last couple of days because they don't want to give up these last 20, because they think as long as we have them, they have protection. But I don't think it can work that way. So I'm speaking to Bibi Netanyahu, and we are coming up with various plans. We're going to say it's a very difficult situation. If they didn't have the hostages, things would go very quickly. But they do, and we know where they have them in some cases, and you don't want to go riding roughshod over that area because that means those hostages will be killed.
Yeah.
Now, there are some people that would say, well, that's the price you pay, but we don't like to say that. We don't want to say that. And I don't think the people of Israel want to say that either, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people would say, just get it done and whatever it is. You could also say speed might be better for the hostages. You go through, with speed, you may have a better chance because they're in deep trouble. They're in deep trouble. And you saw October 7th, and you saw what the damage and the horror that they committed. People can't forget that. They tend to forget it, but they can't forget. That was one of the most evil things I've ever seen, and you just cannot forget that. So
just imagine the stress on the average person that's like, okay, so they're sending in Israeli soldiers, right? Some of which will die, obviously, it's a war, to save these other civilians that are hostages. It keeps this going forever, right? You're always looking over your shoulder. When's the next time there's going to be another attack at some point? It's a fucking horrible situation. It really is. And obviously the bad guys are primarily Hamas, the people that started it, and that could fucking end it any day they wanted to. All they need to do is surrender and release the hostages, and the war will end. These are absolutely the... I fucking hate terrorists, it turns out. Hot take. Maybe, I don't know if it's the American in me, brother, but I fucking hate terrorists. Those terrorists, you gotta blatherate the shit out of them.
We're very much involved. The Prime Minister's involved. I'm involved. And I think I can speak. We just signed a very big trade deal, the biggest of them all yesterday, right? And the European Union is very much involved in wanting to help with the Palestinians in terms of getting people fed. But the area of Gaza, another way of defining it is the area of Gaza. It's a very troubled place, and it has been for many, many years. It has been for many decades. So it's not like this just happened. This has been going on.
I mean, Gaza has fired 20,000 missiles into civilian cities in Israel over the last 20 years, right? This is long before the war. They fired over 20,000 missiles. Dude, this is not good. It was inevitable, and it's fucking horrible that it happened. But from the perspective of Israel, they want to just get rid of the terrorists. The tragic is there's an unbelievable amount of human suffering from innocent people. It's just, war is shit, guys. War is shit.
For a long period of time. So that's it. Our hearts are in the right place. We have some good news because the recent war that you just saw, they just announced, I see, the newest of the 5, now this would be 6 that we've stopped. I've stopped 6 wars in the last
6 months.
I'm averaging about a war.
I'm averaging a war a month. Who says this?
For a month, but the last 3 were very close together.
My God!
India and Pakistan and a lot of them.
Oh,
Congo
Lord.
was just, and Rwanda was just done.
Let's up those numbers! Oh,
but,
God.
You probably know, I won't go into
all 7 swing states, a war a month.
Do it very much because I don't know the final numbers yet. I don't know. Numerous people were killed, and I was dealing with 2 countries that we get along with very well, very different countries from certain standpoints. They've been fighting for 500 years, intermittently.
Yeah.
And we solved that war. You probably saw it just came out over the wire, so we solved it through trade. I said, I don't want to trade with anybody that's killing each other.
If you're doing a war, fuck you. No American gas for you. And then they made peace.
So we just got that one solved. And I'm going to call the 2 prime ministers who I got along with very, very well and speak to them right after this meeting and congratulate them.
Dude, I love when he congratulates people when they do what he wants. This is some fucking Godfather mobster shit. Oh my God. This is crazy. Do you see this? This is some mobster shit, bro. I would like to congratulate you on ending the war and working for me. That's fucking crazy, man.
But it was an honor to be involved, and that was going to be a very nasty war. Those wars have been very, very nasty. So we've done a lot of good work.
You end the war, or I fuck your wife, ends the war. You've done a great thing. You've done such a good thing. Congratulations.
We've had great support from the Prime Minister.
Oh my
Anytime
God.
we needed help, anytime we needed any form of support, you've been there. We appreciate it very much. And we're going to continue onward. We do have to take care of the humanitarian needs at what they used to call the Gaza Strip. You don't hear that line too much anymore. You don't hear the Gaza Strip, but it is the Gaza Strip. And
it is, yeah.
It's amazing. It's not being handled a little bit differently. We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it.
Dude, it's so wild whenever I hear this because, like, there is actual famine in Yemen. Like, in Yemen, which is pretty close, you know, all things considered. There is actual famine. There were over 300,000 starving people in Yemen. Right? Like, it's mind-boggling to me how we have, like, for some propaganda reason, we're sitting there picking and choosing our favorite people that are starving. Like, it's so weird every time.
In conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds, and we just took in trillions of dollars. We got a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money.
Thank you, tariffs. Thank you, tariffs. Turns out tariffs might actually be kind of goaded.
On some food, and other nations are joining us. I know your nation's joining us, and we have all of the European nations joining us, and others also have called, and they want to be helpful. So we're going to set
Congratulations on submitting to me and becoming my bitch, Mr. Prime Minister.
Food centers and where the people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences, and you know they can't. They see the food from 30 you would say yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's at it because they have fences set up that nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there. So we're gonna.
It's wild how much he knows about every situation. You know, like you have like the media trying to make believe Trump is like demented and stuff because he's old, but like, brother. The fact that he knows so many details about so many topics that he's just able to talk about off the top of his head is insane.
Work very closely together with your country, a great country. We also discussed inside that we are, you know, there's a whole new thing happening with regard to energy from nuclear.
Nuclear, I know.
Look into that very strongly, and I know you have Rolls-Royce nuclear plants. That sounds pretty good, right? I love that. What a great brand that is. But you're also doing the Rolls-Royce or the nuclear plants, the smaller plants. We're doing smaller and bigger, but the small is interesting. They do a small plant, very easy, very safe, and as they need more, they hook up another plant, and they have a series of plants instead of, you know, doing the $20 billion plant. That gets tough for a lot of people to do. So we're just studying that. It sounds like you're very far progressed, but that's a great thing you're doing on nuclear. We opened up nuclear about 2 months ago, and it's now safe and very inexpensive.
No, we see civil nuclear as a big part of the future as we go to sustainable independence.
Isn't it kind of weird how this guy sees nuclear as a future after Trump has the balls to actually activate it? Like, while Biden was around, this dude saw no future in nuclear. But now Trump is there. Now Trump says there's a future in nuclear. And he's like, no, I actually think that nuclear is a really good fucking idea. I did the same thing myself after you did first, Mr. President. I was originally scared about the environmentalists getting all offended at me, and then I realized, wait a second, they're so busy getting offended at you, I could get away with it.
And energy, and I think that between the two of us, we can work very much more closely.
Yes, of course.
That's
this dude hates Trump. He hates Trump. He's just out there trying to gargle a little bit of orange balls.
And that's our aspiration, and this is going to be a big part of the future when it comes to energy. And you can see in the last few years.
Wow, what a good team these guys are. They do such good teamwork. Trump activates nuclear, and he's like, holy shit, I should do that as well. What a good team.
Prices have dictated both families and businesses across the United Kingdom, and therefore taking control of it.
See, the beauty about England is that there is one N-word that you could say, nuclear, but if you say the other N-word, you go to jail.
Energy is a huge prize, so the more we can work together on this, the better, and small modular reactors are a very big part of the future here, and we've got great companies like Rolls-Royce involved in that, so I'm very much looking forward to working together with you, Mr. President.
We'll do that. Well, we're going up to your...
Good job, bro. Shame you didn't do that, I don't know, 50 years ago.
Your oil capital. In a little while, we're going up to Aberdeen. That's called the oil capital of Europe, and that's a great asset that you have up there. Someday, if they ever change their thinking on that, you have a great and valuable asset. There's a lot of valuable resources underground there, but that's a decision for you to make. But it's a very amazing place, and it is considered the oil capital of Europe. So It's
another
option that you have. So we are doing really well as a country, and I think that the Prime Minister has been so supportive of us and so strong and so respected, and I respect him much more today than I did before because I just met his wife and family. He's got a perfect wife, and that's never easy to achieve.
I used to not respect you, and then I realized, wow, you're kind of capitulating to what I asked for, and now I do respect you. Kind of crazy how that happens, doesn't it? Wow.
Right? But
I take no credit for that.
But he's become, and together we got a deal done that has not been able to be done. It was a deal that's very good for both parties.
A really good deal for both of our countries. And,
really good for both of us. Anyway, I'm declaring war on Aberdeen. It will be mine.
Very, very well received.
Give it to me, or I take your wife.
Yeah.
In the United Kingdom.
So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any questions?
Earlier you said that you were going to change the deadline from 50 days.
Yeah, I'm going to make a new deadline of
new deadline. Wait, this is on Russia.
About 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but
look, man, Russia's fucking yanking everyone along. They keep saying, "Oh, let's make a deal." Actually, they're not saying that. They're saying, "Oh, let's make deal in 50 days. No one dies between now and then, we promise." And it turns out people do die between now and then. Fucking based not to give them the entire timeline that they want. They've been yanking this chain for years, all right? Fucking put your pedal to the metal or leave, all right? Either don't get involved or end that shit. I don't want any other option. No getting yanked around, bro.
Just don't see any progress being made.
Mr. President, talks about setting up food centres in conjunction with other organisations.
Right.
You're talking about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation or recognised aid agencies. How will this work?
Well, it's going to be working where the United States will be helping with the food. You know, we have a lot of access to food. We got a lot of food ourselves, and we're going to bring it over there. We're also going to make sure that they don't have barriers stopping people. You know, you've seen the areas where they actually have food.
Yep.
And the people are screaming for the food in there.
Yep.
They're 35, 40 yards away, and they won't let them because they have lines that are set up. And whether they're set up by Hamas or whoever, but they're very strict lines, so we have to get rid of those lines. But we're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it.
Yeah.
And
So
you can't
sad.
fake that. So we're going to be...
You can't fake it, but you can definitely exaggerate it. And when I saw that New York Times article was fake and it showed, like, on the front cover, like, a kid with actual, like, diseases, like genetic diseases. There's a lot of genetic diseases in, as far as I understand. But, like, it is insanity. Insanity, bro. Bernie Sanders also tweeted another one that, like, you have to ask questions, right? Like, and it's so sad because when I see these images, this is the same kid, right? This is the same kid that Bernie Sanders, this is a Bernie Sanders tweet. Okay, Bernie Sanders made this tweet over here, and this is the same kid, and it's so fucking tragic. But this kid over here, why is this kid well-fed, or at least, you know, not starving, and this kid looks like this? Like, come on, dude. Like, come on, bro. You get this dude in the back, and bro's over there, he's probably eating all of it. He's not the favorite child, okay? This kid has a muscular dystrophy. This kid has a disease. This is a diseased child. This is not starvation. Again, it's tragic. It's fucking heartbreaking. But in this instance, it's not true. Like, they used a fake image or a real image that is not attributed to actual starvation.
Even more involved. We did some airlifts before, some airdrops, and the people are running for it. And the Prime Minister's going to help us. They're very effective with that. You've done that before. And
dude, I want them to be fine. It's so sad. I fucking hate civilian casualties, man. It's so horrible. I wish this war would have ended so much sooner. It's so fucking frustrating that the war is still going on. It really is.
We've done that for 100 years very well, so it's not very hard to do, actually. Yes.
President, you say you love Scotland. You're the most Scottish president ever in the White House. Is there a better deal to be done for Scotland, for Scottish industry, in the deal that you've done with the Prime Minister? Whisky, for example.
Well, I have great love for Scotland. You know, my mother loved Scotland, and she loved the Queen.
That's good.
I don't know.
I didn't understand him. He wasn't speaking English.
I hurt myself by saying that the monarchists like it, some other people, but she loved the Queen. Whenever the Queen was on television, she wanted to watch. And she would come back religiously. She'd come back to Scotland once a year with my sister Marion, primarily, and sometimes my sister Elizabeth also. but they love this part of the world. And, you know, we're talking about the Isle of Lewis. We're talking about serious Scotland. That's serious Scotland. There was no doubt about it. So, yeah, it gives me a feeling, you know, it's different. You go to another country, you have no relationship to it. You got to like maybe the head of the country. But it's different when your mother was born here. Stornoway, right in Stornoway, a beautiful little place.
Is there a better deal to be done for Scotland, for whisky, for example? Because of your love of Scotland, is there a better trade deal to be done for Scottish businesses?
You're such a fucking asshole question. I hate these people. Because you have such a love for Scotland, maybe you could give us a better deal. Maybe you could sacrifice all of the United States' business to do us a favor in Scotland, because you're biased against us. I mean, for us. You love us here in Scotland. Maybe give us extra Lucky Charms. Sorry, that's Ireland. Come on, you motherfucker. He's the president of the United States of America. His allegiance is to the United States of America. I don't care if he fucking likes Scotland, brother. Get the shit out of here with these questions.
Well, I assume when we do our trade deal overall, a lot of it comes to Scotland, I hope. Maybe all
of course, a lot of it goes to everywhere. What, you think he's gonna do a special extra deal for Father Anderson over here? Like, come on, bro. Get out of here! Get out of here! Scotland forever!
It's a very good deal for the whole United Kingdom, and we've already achieved great things under the deal.
Dude, everyone hates this guy. Is there anyone that likes this dude? How do the British people have the most retarded government on the entire planet? I'm telling you, they have easily the most retarded government on the planet right now. Okay, and Canada, all right? Top two.
Achieve even more as we work together.
A lot of it is Scotland. I mean, I do know that, but I mean, we do.
Some's going to Scotland, bro.
But a lot of it comes.
You know, a special deal. Oh, miss me with that fucking bullshit.
To Scotland, and you know, I was very particular. This is a part of the world I want to see thrive. It's going to thrive.
Back to Gaza. You talk about.
I just interrupted him to ask him about Gaza, bro.
Hamas stealing food and stealing aid. What responsibility does Israel have for limiting aid to the region? And if I could ask a follow-up to the Prime Minister,
that's a good question.
What pressure can be put on Israel? Is that something that you and the United States could work on together?
Israel has a lot of responsibility. They're hampered by the fact that you still have 20 hostages or so.
True.
And the people...
No reason that Israel should not be getting their people back. Someone declared war on them, and they're fighting back against a terrorist organization that declared war on them. The problem is the fucking civilian casualties, and there's no good answer.
People of Israel are very concerned about the 20 hostages. It's very interesting. You could say they could be more concerned about retribution than the 20 hostages, but they really want the 20 hostages to...
I don't think that if it's retribution, then that's horrible, all right? Killing civilians for retribution is unacceptable, obviously. But I don't believe that is what's happening, personally. My personal belief is that they want to get the hostages back and they want to wipe out Hamas's capabilities to continue destroying them. Like, you have to wonder something. How is it that Hamas is still manufacturing missiles, right? There's a genocide, right? How are they manufacturing missiles? Right now, they're still doing it. How? Well, you know, they steal the food, they sell the food, they buy shit, they make missiles. It's still, to this day, like, we're living in a delusional world when we're just seeing the actual fucking Twitter headlines scroll by.
Survive and live to make it. You know, many of the hostages came to my office, in the Oval Office, and I was amazed I would ask them the question, was there any sign of love? Was there any sign of, when you were a hostage and you have all of these people from Hamas around you, sometimes 100, sometimes 10, sometimes 2, but you're a hostage and you're being stored in a pipe. It's not even really, a cave, it's a pipe, a little pipe. And some said they didn't think they were going to make it because they were losing air. There wasn't enough air, and they'd open up the pipe just in time, but they didn't do it on purpose. They just happened to open it. They got lucky. But I said, did they ever wink at you and say, like, don't worry, you're going to be okay? Did they ever give you some extra food, even if it was a piece of bread? Did they ever give you anything during that time? And some were there for 400 or 500 days now, right? It's a long time, a year and a half, more than that. And not one person said there was any love from anybody. You know, in other words, you have hundreds of people, and you see it in the movies where somebody's a prisoner and somebody's helping. You even see it with Germany, where people would be let into a house and live in an attic in secret. You know, you'd see signs of something. I said, did you see anything like, did they wink at you? Did they say, don't worry, you're going to be okay? I ask that question all the time. I've never received one answer that said, yeah, they really wanted to help. No, the hatred is just incredible.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Damn. That's fucking crazy. I mean, I remember when October 7th happened. You probably don't, like, remember this, per se, but I remember when October 7th happened. I had a family member that was killed then by terrorists. So I remember when October 7th happened, and they were literally cheering in the streets. Like, actually literally cheering in the streets, celebrating October 7th, massacring civilians and raping women and kidnapping children. So, obviously, the thing is, I fully believe that people in Gaza hate Israelis. Now, I don't even necessarily blame them for hating Israelis. A lot of these people are absolutely propagandized as children to hate Jews in general. You see the Hamas leadership literally go out there and say we're gonna kill every Jew. Like, that doesn't mean that they deserve death and starvation. Now, I want to see Hamas obliterated and wiped off the fucking planet, and I want the hostages back okay, and I don't want to see children starving. It's an incredibly difficult situation, and the world just decides to make it incredibly black and white. And unfortunately, nothing's black and white.
What more can Israel do in Congress as well?
Well, I think Israel can do a lot. I will say that Iran, I think, interjected themselves in this last negotiation. Can you imagine the beating they took? We wiped out their nuclear possibilities. They can start again. If they do, we'll wipe it out faster than
baby! That's what I want to see! Some American fucking muscle, baby! Yeah! They could try to rebuild that shit, but it ain't gonna last long.
At it. We'll have to do that. We will do that gladly, openly and gladly. They've been saying, Iran's been sending out bad signals, I'll tell you, for a country that just got wiped out.
I mean, they are honestly trying their best to fucking make believe they weren't humiliated. They're like, yes, we are actually the victorious ones here. And it's like, all right, dude.
They've been sending very bad signals, very nasty signals, and they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. They were talking about things that they shouldn't be talking about. They were interviewed on a recent show, and the foreign minister saying things that he shouldn't be talking about, shouldn't be saying.
Oh my God.
And I think
Prime Minister of Iran should not be talking like this, or I will activate the cactus dildos. It's a US-backed weapons facility. I have developed it myself. It's my own invention. The cactus dildo will absolutely rip him apart, literally.
They got involved in this negotiation, telling Hamas and giving Hamas signals and orders, and that's not good.
Yeah, because it turns out that Iran is literally the people that are coordinating all these fucking terrorist organizations around the Middle East.
That's not good.
I would say, look, we need to get the hostages out. They've been held for a very, very long time, and we'll always start from...
I woke up. I have not... Listen, bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This dude, this guy, this homie, this fellow, I haven't heard him talk about the hostages ever. Now that Trump is there, now it's time to talk about the hostages, bro.
There. But also recognise the situation on the ground in Gaza is absolutely intolerable, and I think that, certainly speaking for the British public and myself, seeing those images of starving children in particular...
Images, bro. Bro, every time.
Revolting.
He's right, it's true.
There's a sense of revulsion in the British public at what they're seeing.
It is revolting.
And they know,
he's right.
And we know, that humanitarian aid needs to get in at speed, at volume. Yes, some could be airdropped, and we're...
Now, the irony is, they don't want... But then why can't America continue organizing the aid? For those of you that are unaware, the UN was managing a lot of the aid, and it was getting stolen by Hamas, and Hamas was distributing it sparsely and selling it and starving their own people for propaganda purposes, because, you know, Hamas is a terrorist organization. Absolutely fuck those guys. So that's what they were doing, and the UN was just kind of failing miserably. So the United States took over the operation, and they worked with the Israelis to get food in, and actually got food to the people over the last couple of months. And the UN are like, no, it's a weapon of war. Israel can't be giving out food to people. God, you can't do that. So they're trying to get it back into the hands of the United Nations right now, which is crazy, bro. It's fucking insane. Now, I love that Starmer feels like he has input here. He's trying his best to, like, say things. It's like, yes, the president said was correct, but I also wanted to appeal to the woke for a moment.
Working with others, with the US, with Jordan on that, but the trucks need to get in, because that's the only way you can get the volume in, and we do...
Yeah, the trucks need to get in. Remember when I just showed you a video of, like, literally thousands of bags of flour sitting in the sun in Gaza waiting for the UN to distribute them? Remember I just showed you that clip?
thank the President for the work he's done to try to get to a ceasefire, which we desperately need, but also to put aid in to the region. There needs to
and Trump knows that. That's why he's making this fucking duck face. Whenever Trump makes this face, he's like, yeah, this guy's bullshitting, but we just made a good fucking deal, so I'll let him get away with it.
Much more of that. We need to galvanise other countries in support of getting that aid in. God. And yes, that does involve putting pressure on Israel because this is a humanitarian catastrophe now. We also need to look beyond that situation to what then happens in the event of a ceasefire, which is desperately needed. And that's why I'm really pleased that we're having a discussion about what a peace plan would look like after that, the component parts of that. And we have to be really clear at this point that Hamas can play absolutely no part in any future governance in Palestine. And
that's great, but you know who doesn't agree? Hamas! Hamas doesn't agree! Yeah, good point! You're so right! You are so right! But Hamas doesn't actually agree with you on that one. They're not willing to give up and leave.
And that's in Gaza, and it's really important that we're clear about what triggered this, who took the hostages, and calling out Hamas for what they are, which is a terrorist organisation. But I think today the focus has...
I love how this guy's like, listen, it's important that we call out Hamas. And it's like, brother, get with the fucking times. Bro has the personality of a wet napkin.
Beyond getting that humanitarian aid in.
They just interrupted him. They're like, all right, this dude's yammering. Shut up. Moving on. You're banning fucking Twitter in England. All right, you're banning Xbox chat in England right now, you slimy pussy.
The UK avoid your pharmaceutical tariffs and will it happen before August the 1st?
Well, we'll be announcing on pharmaceuticals sometime in the very near future. We have a very big plan on pharmaceuticals. We want to bring a lot of the pharmaceuticals back to America will. You know, the way they should be.
The way they should.
If you look at COVID, it sort of taught us a lesson. We were getting our pharmaceuticals from other countries. We almost didn't make any. We used to make them ourselves, and we're going to want to be making a lot of them ourselves, all of them in a sense. But you also have a good pharmaceutical business. We'll be dealing with you on pharmaceuticals also. And we certainly feel a lot better with your country working on pharmaceuticals for America than some of the other countries that we're with. The relationship we have, you would not use that as a cudgel. You wouldn't be using it as a block. But we're going to be announcing sometime very soon, I think, pharmaceuticals are our whole thing. And the companies know. And drug prices are going to be coming down very substantially.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what I like to hear. Yes, sir.
No, go ahead. Hold it.
We can all sense your frustration.
Yeah.
Do you think he's been lying to you about his intentions?
Well,
do you think Putin's been lying?
I just use the word lying. All I know is we'd have a good talk, and it seemed on, let's say, 3 occasions, it seemed that we were going to have a ceasefire and maybe peace, and you divide it up and you do whatever you have to do, that obviously to get to the end. And all of a sudden, missiles are flying into Kiev and
weird,
other places.
Yeah, unbelievable. The amount of churches bombed by Russia. Like, they've been fucking obliterating these people. Maybe my social media is fucking screwed up, but I don't see any of that shit. I literally don't see any, like, headlines and news about what's actually going on there.
And I say, what's that all about? I spoke to him 3-4 hours ago, and it looked like we were on our way, and then I'd say, forget it, and I'm not going to talk anymore. You know, this has happened on too many occasions. And
listen, I think Putin's stringing them along, just like I think Iran was stringing them along. Like, there are some people that don't want to make a deal, but if you say that, then you use force. So they keep saying, of course we want to make a deal. Think of the people. These people don't give a shit about the people, but think of the people, guys. Their breasts are empty. Do you know what that smells like? And, you know, they're trying so hard and it's not working.
I don't like it. I don't like
Yoinking him around.
Successful social media sites. There are new powers here to censor your site's status.
To censor my site?
Censor your site.
You mean truth? Truth?
Oh! Censorship? You mean honesty? Oh, shit.
Is that
Oh, did you see him lick his lips? Nah, that's fucking diabolical. Nah, dude. Nah, bro.
To censor my site?
To censor my side.
You mean truth? Truth social?
Oh, he's talking about Truth Social, but that's crazy.
Well, I don't think he's going to censor it because...
Wait, so in the British censorship laws, they wanted to censor Truth Social as part of their fucking censorship 1984 bullshit? They wanted to censor Trump's social media site? Unreal! Unreal! That's evil! There is nothing not safe for work over there, bro. You have no excuses. Like, they claim that they're doing it for the children, but that's insanity! That's insane! Oh my fucking god. These British fucks out there, fascist motherfuckers, trying to control everything.
I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah, we're not censoring anyone.
No censorship here. We're not censoring anyone. Well, I'll have you know, there is a bald man who recorded a video filmed on a potato who disagrees with you.
Primarily Visa and MasterCard, in between their very busy schedule of scamming random financially illiterate people into contracts with credit cards that have 30% interest, they've somehow also managed to fuck up the internet at the same time.
Because now there's unbelievable amounts of censorship going on. An insane, unreal amount of fucking censorship, where for whatever reason, England decided we're going to fucking censor the internet for the benefit of the children.
We've got some measures which are there to protect children, in particular from sites like suicide sites. We've had too many
suicide sites, guys. So you heard it here first, folks. We are closing down all of the internet because of suicide sites. Yep, that's what it's all about. There's too much suicide on websites going on, and because of that, we're shutting down the internet.
Cases in the United Kingdom of young children taking their own lives, and when you look through their social media, they've been accessing sites which talk about suicide and...
What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does this mean? No one is buying this shit. They want a monopoly to control the media that people ingest because they want to control the people. If you control the information, then you control the people. That's what you fucking want, you fascist motherfucker. That's absolutely what's going on here. He's making me... We saw a child that commit suicide and we opened the phone and one of the phone's apps was Twitter and he was following an account of a guy who retweeted a video of somebody killing himself. That's probably why this kid killed himself. That's pretty fucked up.
Encouraging, if you like, children down that road, and that is what we want to stop. Nothing about censoring free speech.
Get the fuck out of here, you fucking fascist retard bitch.
This country is the proud... Free speech in this country has been for a very long time. We're very...
Look at this guy sweating his ass off. Bro, this is just not true. You're literally lying.
Very proud of it. We will protect it forever.
We will protect freedom of speech, especially if someone criticizes Islam, then we're gonna jail that motherfucker. Anyway, speaking of freedom of speech, I have 888,887 subscribers on YouTube right now. Alright, speaking of freedom of speech, I am currently bigger than most of these fucking retard twats floating around the internet. Alright, and because I am an OCD retarded twat, I wanted that screenshot, okay? I'm a simple man, I just wanted that screenshot, and life moves on. Thank you for being here.
But at the same time, I personally feel very strongly that we should protect our young teenagers, and that's what it usually is, from things like suicide sites.
The fuck is a suicide site? You banned Truth Social because of suicide sites? You banned Trump's website because of suicide sites? Like... No, who is falling for this garbage?
I don't see that as a free speech issue. I see that as a child protection.
We actually passed a bill in Congress, headed up by my wife, actually, which was to pull bad stuff out having to do with children because it
honestly, I have nothing against wanting to protect children from some of the bullshit that goes on the internet, okay? Because there's a lot of bullshit that goes on the internet that I think protecting children from would be a really good thing. That doesn't mean just censoring all of the internet. This guy sucks, bro. This guy fucking sucks. He's terrible. You know how many games they banned off Steam now? They just banned a ton of games off Steam. They're censoring stuff that you could play, that you could buy, that you could watch. Like, dude, this is all obviously bullshit, right? Like, no one's buying this.
There's a problem.
Anyway, someone in my chat just linked this video. This is Kier Starmer 11 years ago. Back before he was a fat pig.
Principles of free speech and free expression require there to be a high threshold and dictate that a prosecution is unlikely to be in the public interest in many of those cases.
And the factors which will suggest people might not be prosecuted include things like deleting it quickly if you've sobered up in the morning. Can you explain about that?
One thing that's very important in this area is that where free speech protects the subject matter, a prosecution must be proportionate. And when considering whether a prosecution is proportionate, the question of whether a communication is removed quickly, whether the individual expresses remorse, whether access to the communication is blocked, these are obviously relevant to any assessment of proportionality.
And will it be more or less likely for individuals to be prosecuted criminally now when they're using Twitter or Facebook, do you think?
It's not possible to say whether it's more or less likely. There simply haven't been enough cases. But this is clearly signalling that in those cases that are protected by freedom of expression, then there's a double safeguard, a high threshold, and consideration of the public interest before a prosecution will be brought.
Yeah, not anymore, it turns out. We used to think that freedom of speech was important in the UK, and now, if you commit blasphemy against Islam, you go to jail. This is a real thing, by the way. Like, you don't understand. This is unbelievable bullshit.
But I cannot imagine him censoring Truth Social. That's more of a...
And he's like, ha ha ha, yeah, we will.
Very political, and you know, it's been a
What do
very
you
good
mean?
success.
Why would you possibly censor that? Ha 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 ha.
And I only say good things about him and his country, so they to me, you're making a mistake.
Let me go ask my friend. I have a friend, Count Dankula, who was sentenced to jail for making his pug do a Nazi salute. Okay? All right? Let me go ask him what he thinks about freedom of speech in England.
You're a big investor in this area.
Say it?
You're a big investor in this area.
To put it mildly. Like this ballroom that we built from scratch.
Oh, wait, this is his ballroom? That's crazy.
Do you worry, though, about the risk of increased taxes here? Will that stop you investing? And do you have a message last night on the soccer to the English Lionesses who won the European trophy?
So I think that I have a theory that low taxes bring growth. We just passed...
Yeah, capitalism, baby. Oh, yeah, in your face, you dirty commies.
The big tax cut bill, the biggest bill in the history of our country, actually. And one big, beautiful bill. I used to call it the great one big, beautiful. We took the word great out. But it's actually called the one big, beautiful bill.
I wanted to call it the great, big, wonderful, beautiful bill. But now I only call it the beautiful bill. This is so sad. Nux, you're spreading misinformation. The UK had nothing to do with the Steam banning games. I'm not talking about Steam. I'm talking about the UK child protection laws where they're censoring a metric fuck ton of shit on the internet. I'm not even talking about the credit card stuff. I know that Asmongold was talking about that in his video, but brother.
Essentially a very large tax cut bill for everybody. And our country's pretty soon, I think I can say it right now, our country has never done better. We had a country that was dead. It was dead 6 months ago, a year ago. Leaders from NATO, we had a very successful meeting at NATO. Your prime minister was there. It was an unbelievable love fest with all of those countries. And they agreed to go 5% and all the things. Very smart to do. But many of the leaders said, you know, essentially, they said, your country was dead 1 year ago. 1 year ago, we had a dead, and we did. We had a dead country. We had a president who didn't know where the hell he was. We had horrible, horrible people running our country. I think they were sick people, actually. Sick.
I agree.
Censorship. Those are.
Yeah. Who was running the country, baby?
They didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And they had high taxes. They wanted more tax, total censorship,
taxes
transgender for everybody.
Transgender for everybody. If you have a penis, remove it at the door.
Playing in women's sports.
Everything
bad they wanted. And they still do. That's
Keep
what they
cooking,
still do.
brother.
That's why they're down at 15%.
And that's why no matter how many Epstein file scandals Trump has, he's still a billion times better than the also Epstein fucking protectors in the last administration. Okay? I'll be real. Trump, they might be hiding some Epstein shit, but the last people were also hiding the Epstein shit and cutting the balls off children. All right, listen. The math works out. All right, I'll be real. The math works out.
Or something I saw today, the lowest that the other part of the Democrats have ever been. But no, I find that when you lower taxes, you get growth. I will
so
say
based. Oh my God.
The prime minister hasn't been here very long. I think he'll be a tax cutter. But I find that as we cut taxes, we did more business. Yeah. You know, in my first tax bill, we cut taxes from 39% down to 22%, and we ended up at the end of the first year. When it was still a little raw, we ended up taking in much more revenue than we did at 39%. It was pretty amazing. And we're taking in a lot of revenue right now, and this was an additional tax cut. So I find, for whatever it's worth, tax cuts are very good.
So Russia moved up the deadline. It's now 10 days. Is the sanction the same that you're going to slap a 100% tariff on anybody who does business with Russia?
So what I'm doing is we're going to do secondary sanctions unless we make a deal, and we might make a deal. I don't know. You don't know. We've done so many peace deals. This is the one I started out with, and you know, I know President Putin called me. He wanted to know if I could help him with Iran. I said, no, I don't need your help with Iran. I need Russia.
True!
And, so that's the one deal that continues to linger. And, you know, we're losing 5...
It's unbelievable. This dude is so fucking helpful, right? Vladimir Putin, so unbelievably helpful. Dude just shows up. Listen, Mr. President, I know you have problems with Iran. Let me help you, my brother. And it's like, motherfucker, can you please stop killing Ukrainians, please? Can you please stop? Can you please end the war you're in the middle of right now?
They're losing. I'm not losing. You're not losing. But 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian kids a week are dying. And that's not mentioning the people that are dying also in towns where, you know, he's lobbing missiles into certain towns like Kiev. And he's got to make a deal. It's too many people are dying. It's a really bloody war. And the 5 now, they're really telling me that number is obsolete. It's like 7.
That's terrible.
So you have 7,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers dying every single week.
Unreal. It's like, it's unfathomable numbers. Unfathomable numbers. Fucking tragic. Unbelievable.
For no reason whatsoever. So you would think, based on common sense, you would think he'd want to make a deal. We'll find out.
Putin, we are willing to give you 24 hours with Sydney Sweeney.
Ukraine channels conversations with the Russians.
She has great genes.
In what?
Reiterating this new pressure and deadline.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a, well, you're the press. I'm reiterating it to you. I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait. If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait? And it would be sanctions and maybe tariffs, secondary tariffs. You know what a secondary tariff is?
We're going to tariff you to oblivion. You end this war or you pay me your fucking children's inheritance, goddammit.
Look, the Russian economy, I don't want to do that to Russia. I love the Russian people. They're great people. I don't want to do that to Russia. But this thing, they're losing a lot of Russians. They've lost 1 million Russians. And that's the, sons. That's the sons and daughters of
the next generation.
Russian families. They leave the house. They go, bye, mom, bye, dad, and then they get blown away. And Ukraine.
It's describing what does happen in wars. Yeah, true. It's so fucking sad, man. He really is an empathetic man. What can I say? Idubbbz has a lot to learn from Mr. Trump.
Ukrainian too. Look at Ukraine. It's a disaster what's happened there. But it continues to go on. As you know, we made a deal where the European Union is essentially involved, but it's NATO, and we're supplying weapons to NATO. NATO's now paying because the United States, because of Biden's in for $350 billion, the European nations are in for about $100 billion. Should be the opposite way, by the way, because we have a big ocean in between. Should be the opposite way. But I think that eventually something's going to happen. It should happen fast. So many people are dying. You know, when I settled out with Congo and Rwanda, they lost almost 8 million people. And it just made so much sense. And if I didn't get involved, they wouldn't have done it. They weren't even thinking about settling it. It was just going on forever. And nobody could go into those territories.
Yeah, honestly, no one even expected that. That literally came out of fucking nowhere. Yeah, I wasn't even, like, hoping for that. Like, I knew that there was this war going on for a long time. The war between the Congo and Rwanda, there were 5.5 million people killed. 5.5 million people killed. That is fucking crazy. Like, on a level that I don't think any of us actually comprehend exactly how bad it was. And Trump decided to just, as a side quest, end that shit.
Get killed. They get killed. And now they have I hear it's a whole different ballgame. We settled it. This is one that should be settled. Russia, Ukraine. This is one that really should be settled.
Mr. President, Scotland's First Minister has today set out his plans for a second referendum on Scottish independence. Can I get your reaction to that as someone with ties to Scotland? So, Prime Minister, can I also get your thoughts on that? The SNP do win a majority in next year's election, then they have the right to hold a referendum, you know.
Well, I don't want to get involved in your politics.
I don't. Yeah, Trump doesn't get involved in anybody's politics. Vote for the other guy. I'm not getting involved. I don't want to say anything. Vote for the guy, please.
Politics of our own. I will say that I predicted what was going to happen the last time. You remember, I was opening the first course over at Aberdeen, and I was over here, and at the same time, and they asked me that question. I made a prediction. It was the day before the vote, and I made it correct. I like to be correct, but I made a correct prediction. I don't know.
Not to toot my own horn here, but I am usually right.
I do say that when they made that deal, somebody said that it was, and I remember this very distinctly, I said, could they do this all the time? There was a little bit of a restriction, like 50 or 75 years before you could take another vote. Because, you know, a country can't go through that too much. I don't know the First Minister, but I've heard great things about him. I've spoken to him. I hear very good things about him, and I'm meeting him today. So maybe I'll have a better opinion then.
Let me answer that straightforwardly, because I believe in a stronger Scotland, in a better United Kingdom, and I think that
All the decisions you've made so far prove otherwise.
At a time like this, when it's quite clear that there's uncertainty and volatility around the world.
There's so much volatility around the world, not like in England. England is wonderful. There are no instances of giant rape gangs wandering the streets of illegal immigrants that are raping our women, and if that does happen, we'll arrest you for calling them out.
The strength of the United Kingdom together is very important for all four nations, very important for Scotland, and that should be our priority, that should be our focus, not on the politics, which feels like the politics of yesteryear now.
Oh my God, this dude is like literally an old fart.
And I think that, the First Minister should probably focus more on his delivery in Scotland than on his constitutional issues, and we might have a better health service in Scotland. But at a time like this, I think the United Kingdom is always stronger.
In the words of the Blue Jew, England is 100% fucked, and we're trying to get out of that.
Better for all four nations. I think that's how stronger Scotland is stronger.
We're so strong, so strong. The strength
we've been able to do with the United States, a really important deal that we made just months ago. That is what the United Kingdom can do when we act as a powerful set of four nations together. And
dude, am I the only one that thinks this guy literally, like, he's like a wet fart that came to life? Like, I feel no gravitas in anything that he says.
There are very many other examples.
We're so strong and powerful. Yeah. He said nothing. He said fucking nothing. Like, I'm so used to Trump actually answering questions. Like, I am used to Trump answering questions that whenever I hear like another politician go up there and just sit there and blather around for 5 minutes, it's like, it's painful.
Last week.
I feel like I'm watching an AI slop YouTuber.
This week, do you think your visit has inspired a potential rate cut, or how do you see things should?
Well, it's interesting. I did tour it. I toured the building. And if you looked at this building, if you came here like 14, 15 years ago, we've had it a long time. It's been an honor to have Turnberry. But I was on much more opulent walls, ceilings, floors. We had to do this. And we did a very great job. I mean, you see how beautiful it is inside. Everything was saved. Everything was preserved. Wow. We had ceilings that were in bad shape. They were falling down. You know, it's very old. Wasn't properly maintained. Now it's brand new and beautiful, and we saved everything. If you really think here, you took a look and you were sort of commenting the coloring. Now this is a brand new building, but if you look outside, it's equally opulent and beautiful. And we didn't do that by spending hundreds of millions of dollars in surrounding a railing underneath a area that you're painting. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Brand new, beautiful plywood, very expensive, wrapped around a figurine or a railing to preserve it. But you don't have to do that. You can just wrap a cloth, they call it a blanket, and you don't even have to do that if you're careful when you're doing the ceiling. But I don't know what they did. They'd take down a ceiling and put up a new ceiling, and the new ceiling had no opulence to it. Or they'd fix the ceiling. But I would say that all I need is a good plaster.
Like, the thing is, Trump knows so much about so many topics. He's talking about fixing his fucking ceiling, and I'm like, yeah, all right, very cool. He's a millionaire that fixed his property, a billionaire, and he knows what he's fucking talking about. And then you have, what do you think, Kier Starmer? And Kier Starmer was like, well, I was brushing my teeth the other day, and then I remembered that I'm British, and I actually don't even have teeth. Remember, chat, you don't have to brush all of your teeth. Only the ones that you intend to keep. Actual Kier Starmer drawing. Thoughts? Definitely subscribe. What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking? Anyway.
A can of paint. And, they spent $3.9 billion. And I spent a lot of money, too, but it's I'd say 3.8 billion less, meaning I spent probably $100 million making this place incredible.
And you were saying a lot of that was local trades.
I used local trades.
We were looking at the windows, I think, in the next room.
I had local trades do a lot of this. We have the most opulent windows next door, and I had a choice. Do I take them out? And, they've suffered through 125 years of storms. You have very big storms in this area. When you have a storm, you have a storm.
We do it properly.
And they made it, barely, but they were in bad shape. So I had some local people come up, and we looked at them. You have some great craftsmen here, I think is what you're getting at. And they said, sir, honestly, they've had it. We can copy it and do it much better. And they did. If you take a look at the windows in the various dining rooms, they're magnificent, and they're new, and they're much better looking than what was there. Same exact look, other than a much higher quality. And they're local people. I use a lot of your local people. You have really great local tradesmen here. Yes?
See a rate cut this week. Do you expect
A rate cut, meaning a tax cut?
the Fed to cut rates this
Oh, I think he has to. You had 11 cuts, you know? In Europe, they had 11 cuts. In other places, they had 10 or 11 cuts. And we had none, but I'm not going to say anything bad. You know, we're doing so well, even without the rate cut.
True.
With the rate cut, it would be better. It affects our housing a little bit. Look, we should be 3 points lower. Each point is $360 billion. Can you imagine that? That's big numbers. Each point, 1 point of cut, is the equivalent of $360 billion in savings. That's big stuff, you know. Those are big numbers in the U.S. Everything's big. He should cut. A smart person would cut. You know, he's very soon, so it's like one of
He
those
should
things,
do it.
but
A smart
I'll miss
person
him
would do
greatly.
it. I'm not telling him what to do.
I'll miss him.
But if he was smart, he would do it.
Have you or will you enlist the Prime Minister in your effort to bring the open back to Turnberry? And Prime Minister, you described this beautiful course. Do you agree with the President that it's time to bring the open back to Turnberry?
Well, as you know, that's not a matter directly for me. That's for the sporting authorities. But look,
Now, I'm not allowed to give an opinion because it might be controversial, and I also don't know the difference between my nose and my arse.
I mean, it is the first time I've been here. It's absolutely magnificent, both inside and out, and looking at the courses itself and the building. It's
You know how they used to say deer in the headlights? Well, I am what they call Kier in the headlights, because I also don't know what to say when you ask me a question.
It's incredible, but the decision on the open is not a decision for me, as you'll understand. I should just pick up on the earlier question, because I, for one, will say congratulations to the Lionesses. Last night, our women's football team won the Euros.
Yeah, I totally watch women's sports. Yeah, I'm so cool. I love women. I'm so based. I'm woke, guys. I'm so woke. I love women. I totally watch women's sports.
Defended the Euros, I should say.
Wow,
which
women.
was a really big success,
women.
and the mental and physical resilience that
The
they showed was
resilience of
quite,
the physical
incredible.
women.
So
It's a big deal.
There's a lot of bunting out today and tomorrow to celebrate them bringing that cup home.
Do you have a chance to do any planning for the upcoming state visit? And I mean, how is that going to work? Where would you stay? And anything about this?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's never been done before.
All right, I think the rest is just kind of yapping, right?
I think I won because we had a lousy president, to be
Damn. I mean, true.
honest with you. We had an incompetent president. But I won because I was very strong on immigration.
True! True! Get absolutely fucking cooked. Look at this guy's face. This is the face of a man that's about to be elected out of office.
Now, we had inflation. We had sort of a bad economy with this guy.
We had inflation, diabetes, fat people, illegal immigrants.
We had a lot of problems, but I focused on immigration more than I did anything else. And I think I won because of immigration. I think I won because of the border. I had a bad border where millions of people were coming in.
You sound familiar, Mr. Starmer.
A country illegally. And as you know, in last month, 0 people came into our country illegally. 0. So we went from a bad, incompetently run border to...
I love how he's saying this next to this guy. I love how he's saying this next to this dude.
The most competently run border that anybody's ever seen.
The president makes it look easy.
Yeah, it's so good, isn't it, sir?
With illegal migration. You must be envious of his record in such a short.
Well, I think irregular, illegal migration is a huge issue in both our countries. In the United Kingdom,
Right.
It is a real cause for concern, and that's why we must bear down on it.
What are we bearing down? Are you deporting anybody? Bear down. Great way to say fucking nothing.
In all its aspects.
Oh, the aspects.
Upstream, across Europe, where a lot of ours comes into through northern France, across the Channel, working with our allies, with our colleagues to break the gangs that are actually running this trade.
Oh, we have to break gangs. All right, no deportations.
But equally, being very strong that when people have arrived in this country who've got no right to be here, then we should be removing them.
Oh, really?
To their own country, and pleased that we've been able to focus on this very intensely and get 5,000 people out of the United Kingdom who had no right to be here, because the message has to be you can't make your way to the
They're going to arrest this guy for hate speech in a minute.
United Kingdom. We won't tolerate our rules being broken, and if you get here, you will be returned to where you came from, and it's really important that we bear down on that.
We're such an attractive place for people to come. If they want it, we are.
People coming via the rules are always welcome. Of course, we've welcomed talent and people into this country for centuries, literally. But what the British...
Yes, of course, the talented people. You see, the thing is, all the people coming into England, they're all engineers. They're all computer engineers.
People will not tolerate is those that break the rules, those that come through irregular routes, and that's the really important distinction here, and that's what we're bearing down on. And I'm really pleased that we're through pretty well all of the international engagement I've done, all the meetings I've had, the countries we've done deals with. We've done deals with countries in the last 12 months that many people thought it was not possible to do deal with when it came to immigration, irregular immigration, and we've returned thousands of people who've got no right to be here. And that, I think, is, for the British people, we're a reasonable, tolerant country where people are coming lawfully to contribute to our communities, to our country. Then, of course, they're welcome and have made a great contribution. But what people worry is those that are breaking the rules. And that is an issue of today, but it's a very British thing. We are people who respect rules. And we
How does this dude say this with a straight face?
don't approve of those that break rules.
We do not approve of rule breakers. Anyway, death to anyone that insults people, but also if you're a raper, we'll let you run around.
I can say, though, that I had one of the greatest victories, they say the most consequential in 129 years, so I don't know about that, but it was pretty close.
Oh my God. Trump comes in and let me remind you, based I have all 7 swing states.
And we won all of the swing states, which
ain't no way, dude.
Never happens. We won the popular vote by millions of votes. We won, tremendous electoral college sweep. And I believe I did it more than anything else because of my strong stand on immigration.
That's crazy.
And I don't think this country's any different in that sense. I think
this country's not so different. They want to get rid of the illegal people, and he's like,
I think it's a big factor. And it is with a lot of the European countries. Some of the countries have lost their way, and they have tremendous crime because of it. I mean, you had countries with no crime that now have tremendous crime, and you know the countries, and I know the countries. And so I think it's a huge factor in any election, not just this election, but in any election. I think the one that's toughest and most competent on immigration is going to win the election. But then you add low taxes and you add the economy. He did a great thing with the economy because a lot of money is going to come in because of the deal.
He did a great thing when he made a deal with me. Oh my fucking God. Every compliment that he actually gives this guy, every time he gives a compliment to this guy, it's because of a time that he submitted to Trump. Do you recognize the fucking size of the cock he's slapping on the table over Lola?
Was made. But I think that immigration is now bigger than ever before.
I agree.
Your Treasury Secretary is meeting with Chinese...
Right now.
Right now. Have you received an update? Do you expect a deal when these talks are over?
Right, yeah. No, they're meeting right now. And, we have a good relationship with China. China's tough.
China. We love China.
Like you're tough. We're all tough, yes. But we're going to see what happens. We just concluded our deal with Japan. It was very good, good for everybody.
Yeah, you got a big W in Japan.
Great deals. We're making deals that are good for us, but we want them to be good for everybody. It's important. It's sometimes I'll do something that I shouldn't do because it's not very important for our country, but it's very meaningful for the country on the other side. And I'll let them have that point because it's very important for them. So, I don't know, but we've made a lot of deals in the last couple of months. And then ultimately, as you might as well know, we're going to just, because we have, you have 200 countries, more. But people don't know that. You got a lot of countries. And I wouldn't want to sit down with 200 people and have to deal the way he was calling me all the time. We want this, we got to have that. These are tough negotiators. These are, look,
oh, shit.
Smart people.
They are going to ask about the Epstein files. Damn. Okay. All right. Okay. They are getting there. Wait.
Once clean air, clean water, all of the things that we all want.
Mr. President, you have said that you have not been briefed on the Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name is...
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. It's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running a...
Yeah, bro, come on, dude, stop! You need to stop! You need to stop, bro! Look, if you're gonna lie about it, at least admit it, alright? If you're gonna lie about it, just be upfront and tell us, I've already addressed everything, we're moving on, alright? Repeating shit every time and manipulating it every single time is not gonna work, okay? Stop, bro, please.
Against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now,
I agree. If they had actual incriminating evidence of him with a child, they would have released it. That's my opinion, okay? But my guess is he does show up in the files. And obviously that looks pretty horrible because, you know, the files contain the most, fucking biggest pedophile in the history of pedophiles, all right? And you can't just sit here every day, Epstein, are we still talking about him? Democrat hoax. Yeah, all those children were raped by ghosts. I've seen it, I know.
They can easily put something in the files that's a phony. Like, as an example, Christopher Steele, a person you know well, happens to be from your country. But Christopher Steele, as an example, wrote a book, a dossier. We call it the fake news dossier.
Yes, that was a hoax.
And the whole
He's
thing
right.
was a fake.
You're right, that was fake.
The whole thing was a fake.
You are right.
They can put things in the file that are fake. But those files were run by bad, sick people. If they had anything, why didn't they use it when I was killing Joe and then he gave out because he was 25 points down? And then I got somebody new. Nobody even knew anything about her. She was a horrible vice president. She was a border czar, but she never went to the border. She never once called a border patrol agent to find out how we're doing. But she was the border czar. Her name was Kamala. Nobody knows her last name. It was Harris, but nobody knew her last name. So I ended up, how'd you like to end up in a place where you're killing somebody, you're beating him, and then they say, oh, we'll take him out, he's not working, let's put somebody else. And then she had a 6-week honeymoon.
Bro.
It was amazing. They predicted she will have a 6-week honeymoon, and she did. And then she got slaughtered. But think of it, those files were run by these people. They were run by my enemy. If there was anything in there, they would have used them.
Bro has to stop. Bro has to fucking stop. Look, I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. If there was actually evidence that you were fucking children, I do think that shit would have come out. But you have to stop making believe there's no files, and then there is files, and then there's no files. Like, what are we doing? Come on, bro. Nobody knew her last name. It was Harris, by the way.
For the election, yeah.
Do you think that drawing, I think I heard you say something the other day, the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal.
I don't do drawings.
All right, so this is about the letter that was allegedly drawn by Trump and sent to Epstein.
I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman.
Yeah, I believe him, by the way, to be honest. I do. I don't think that he drew a picture of a woman and sent it to Epstein. In my opinion, I don't think so. Again, I want evidence. Meanwhile, there's no evidence.
I don't do drawings of women. And also, Epstein was always a very controversial guy. I was at a very high position, pretty much all my life. In all fairness, I've been doing this for a long time.
I've been at the top of the game since I was born.
I had the top show on television. I had the #1 bestsellers. I had everything, right? And I was a very successful business guy. He was a very controversial. Who would do a controversial drawing? Now, with that being said,
well, I mean, there's literally a portrait of Bill Clinton in Jeffrey Epstein's living room wearing a dress. All right. This is a real thing, by the way, that I am not making up. And I even told it to another YouTuber, I think Before You Sleep. And he was like, nah, that's not real. Then I sent him images, and it's real. It's a real thing. Let me show you guys. Check this shit out, baby. New York Post. New York Post, baby. Epstein had bizarre painting of Bill Clinton in a dress, heels in townhouse. This is a painting of Bill Clinton in Jeffrey Epstein's living room. Now you're gonna tell me, bro, dude didn't have some weird shit? Bro had some weird shit. All right, that's a retard for another day.
They say there were many letters done by many people, and many big people, big successful people. But I just don't. When you talk about files, I just keep going back, and other people too. Even
bro, Trump coming up. I like tits big. I like them big. I would never diddle a child. Not enough boob. Bro, if he would say something like that, it would be over. The controversy would end.
The enemy says this thing is not correct, because if we had it, we would have used it on the guy. It's a bad issue. They say it's a good issue for Trump. Do you know that my poll numbers are up 4.5
Oh, no! This is not working! It's not gonna work, ever! Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Did you know my poll numbers are fucking high? Yeah, because you're doing a lot of really great fucking things. But, like, dude, you have to stop answering these questions like this.
Ridiculous stuff. My poll numbers have gone up 4.5 points because people don't buy it, okay? People don't buy it.
Yeah, everyone buys it. They just like that you're deporting illegal immigrants and that you're making good business deals, all right? Like, bro, stop, okay? Everyone buys it. I don't know a single person that thinks that the Epstein files are a Democrat hoax. Okay, I don't know anyone that thinks that, okay?
And he's gone, and we want to focus on trade deals. I want to focus on the deal we just made with the European Union, which is the biggest trade deal in history. It's the biggest deal, I think, in history, not just trade deal.
Okay, I don't think so. I don't think it's history's biggest deal, but it's up there.
If they would have had something, they would have used it,
and people keep writing stories about he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. Can you settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach?
Oh. Yeah, because one of the big controversies actually was the fact that Trump, out of all the people that were allegedly on the Epstein list and friends with Epstein, Trump threw Epstein out of his house in Florida.
That's such old history, very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help, and I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again, and I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
28 times, bro.
I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard.
Oh, my God, bro's got the tea.
The people that are very big people, nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
That sounds so fucking bad, dude. Oh, my God. I didn't have the privilege. Oh, I mean, it was obviously sarcasm, right? Like, it was obviously sarcasm, but dog, this is fucking Diddler Central, bro. The privilege? Oh, no. Bro overcooked on that one.
And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Yeah.
On Gaza, next time you speak to Netanyahu, what will you ask him to do?
All right, we're back on Gaza. We already covered that. So, yeah, anyway, that's where we're going to wrap it up here, bro. He can never answer these Epstein questions in a way that'll satisfy people, because as long as he makes believe that there aren't powerful people that are fucking pedophiles that are being protected, like, as long as he keeps denying this, it's over, okay? Literally. We know for a fact that there are powerful people in the country that were pedophiles, that were raping children on Epstein's island. We all fucking know that, all right? And as it stands right now, those people did not face justice. Until that happens, no one will be satisfied. No matter how many times you validate yourself and you prove that you yourself are not guilty of shit, it doesn't matter, because you are out actively protecting pedophiles in the government. I don't know if it's because it's some sort of PSYOP. I don't know if it's some sort of CIA operation, if it's the Mossad, or if it's MI6, if it's KGB. Now, an ex-CIA agent said that it's Russian intelligence that's doing it. I don't know what the truth is. What I do know is that there are fucking pedophiles in the government, or that are powerful people, and they're being protected. So subscribe. Let's up those numbers. Stay weird as shit, boys. Keep your eyes open. Believe nothing. Colossal good deal. Epstein lies still cooking. It doesn't stop. I don't expect it to be honest. I have a deep mistrust in government myself, so I can't say that I am surprised. It's just a little bit frustrating. Colossal deals, British censorship, and I'll see you in the next one, baby. If you want to keep up to date with everything and all the retards, you definitely want to be subscribed. All right, let's hit 900K, baby. All right, see you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.